I was 17 when I first truly believed I was destined to become a poet. It was an ambition that seized me with a fervor I hadn't known before. The desire to sculpt words, to craft verses that could capture the beauty of the world or the complexity of the human spirit, filled my every waking thought. It was not just an idle dream. It felt like a calling. Every day, I would rise before dawn, when the streets of Athens were still shrouded in the soft gray light of morning. The city was quiet then, save for the occasional call of a lone bird or the rustle of leaves in the wind. I would sit by the window in my small room, quill in hand, and write. I would pour my thoughts onto the parchment, letting the ink flow as freely as the ideas in my mind. I wrote about everything: the gods, the stars, the seasons, love, loss, and the endless quest for wisdom. One morning, I began writing a poem about the birth of wisdom. I imagined it as a force emerging from the union of thought and experience, something that grew and evolved within the human soul. The verses came to me effortlessly, from the quiet depths of night, where stars like silent sentinels gleam. There rises thought, pure and bright, a whisper born from a dream. It dances in the mind's eye, a shadow that seeks the sun. And with each question it draws nigh to the light where knowledge is won. I could feel the power of the words as I wrote them. They resonated within me, as if they were not just ink on parchment, but a piece of my soul laid bare. I continued, lost in the rhythm of the verses. Yet wisdom, child of the divine, is not in answers found, but in the journey, line by line, where every step is sound. For wisdom lives not in the known, but in the seeking heart, in every stone that's ever thrown, in every work of art. I was so engrossed in the act of creation that I barely noticed the passage of time. It wasn't until the sun's rays broke through the window, warming the room with their golden light, that I realized how much I had written. I leaned back in my chair, reading over the lines I had composed. They were raw, unpolished, but there was something there, something that spoke to me of truth and beauty. In those early days, I shared my poetry with anyone who would listen. I would recite my verses to my friends, to my family, even to strangers in the marketplace. Most of them were polite, offering kind words or nods of approval. But there was one man whose opinion I valued above all others: Socrates. Socrates had a reputation for being a harsh critic, unafraid to challenge the thoughts and beliefs of others. He was known for his relentless questioning, his refusal to accept anything at face value. But he was also a man of immense wisdom, and I craved his approval more than anything. One afternoon, I gathered the courage to show him my latest work. We met in a small, shaded grove just outside the city, where the air was thick with the scent of pine and the distant murmur of a nearby stream. I handed him the parchment, my hands trembling slightly as I did so. Socrates read the poem in silence, his brow furrowed in concentration. The seconds stretched into minutes, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. Finally, he looked up, his gaze piercing and thoughtful. "This is well written, Plato," he said, his voice calm and measured. "But tell me, what do you hope to achieve with these words?" I hesitated, unsure of how to respond. I want to capture the essence of wisdom, to convey the beauty of the quest for knowledge." Socrates nodded slowly. "And do you believe that words alone can capture something as vast and complex as wisdom?" I frowned, taken aback by the question. I suppose they can. If the words are chosen carefully, if they are crafted with care and precision." Socrates smiled faintly, but there was a hint of sadness in his eyes. "Words are powerful, Plato, but they are also limited. They can describe, they can inspire, but they cannot fully encompass the truth. Wisdom is not something that can be captured in a poem or a speech. It is something that must be lived, experienced, and understood through action." His words struck me like a bolt of lightning. I had been so consumed with the idea of becoming a poet, of expressing my thoughts through verse, that I hadn't considered the possibility that words might not be enough, that perhaps the pursuit of wisdom required more than just eloquence. It required a deeper understanding, a willingness to question and to seek the truth, no matter how difficult or uncomfortable that truth might be. I left that meeting with Socrates, feeling both humbled and inspired. It was then that I realized that my true calling might not lie in poetry after all, but in philosophy, in the pursuit of knowledge and understanding, in the exploration of ideas and the questioning of assumptions. And so I began to study under Socrates, learning from him not just the art of rhetoric, but the art of living a meaningful and examined life. Looking back, I can see that my youthful ambition to become a poet was not wasted. It taught me the power of words, the beauty of expression, and the importance of seeking truth in all its forms. But it also led me to the realization that wisdom cannot be contained in a poem or a book. It is something that must be lived, experienced, and continually sought after. For you, this means recognizing that your ambitions, whatever they may be, are part of a larger journey. They may evolve, change, or even be replaced by new pursuits as you grow and learn. But each step you take, each goal you chase, brings you closer to understanding yourself and the world around you. So embrace your ambitions, but also remain open to the possibility that the path you are on may lead you to unexpected and even greater discoveries. Today, take a moment to reflect on your own ambitions and ask yourself, are they aligned with your true purpose? Are they helping you grow, learn, and become the person you aspire to be? If not, perhaps it's time to consider a new direction, one that leads you closer to the truth and wisdom you seek. Have a day of insightful reflection and create